I'm Sifu Manfredy from Twisting Tiger Academy here in Lakeland, Florida. I am a third-generation disciple of the Ip Man Wing Chun lineage under my Sifu, Samuel Kwok. Today, joining me is Isaac Jones, and we are going to kind of elaborate a little bit on a center line principle theory that most martial arts use across the board, whether it's Japanese, Chinese, Korean, Filipino, Pancratian, so on and so forth. And the center line principle is an imaginary line from the top of your head down into the floor that literally divides you from the center. So, for instance, if he's facing me, what I am looking at is a literal imaginary line, like I just painted it down his body with a Sharpie from top to bottom. One left half, one right half. Now, as we look at this principle, we are going to pretty much try to help you understand that this principle is for everything. Whether it's defense, whether it's offense, whether it's both attack and defense. It is synonymous with all we do. So Isaac will demonstrate the Sil Lim Tau form facing you for me. And he's going to move slowly. Sil Lim Tau, which means little idea. He is going to pretty much give you an idea of where to find the center line. I will point a few things out as he goes and begin. As he crosses down to begin the form, he is covering the center line. This is Chaji Sao. Cross arm, low cross arm block. Subji Sao. High cross arm block. Crossing the center line directly on top of it to execute Chong Choi Kun, or center line fist. It's called center line fist because it does travel the center line as an imaginary tether to the opponent, straight down the middle and hitting exactly where it originates from. Tan Sao, crossing the center line to block, spreading hand. Repeats on the other side. Everything we do starts on the left, but will repeat on the right. Now, does that mean we fight always with our left hand doing everything first? No, that is just tradition of orientation of the form. Continue. This particular technique, Tan Sao, is repeated multiple times throughout the form. It is one of our basic techniques in the system. When I say basic, I don't mean that it's just a technique that can be used for basic defense. I mean that it's one of the beginning things we here at Twisting Tiger teach because it helps with every other technique we utilize. Wu Sao, protecting hand. Now, here's where Cantonese gets a little tricky. Although his hand is in this position, when it starts to travel back, the term changes from Wu Sao to Fan Sao, returning hand, because it's returning to the center. Which, when I say returning to the center, it should never return further than 1 fist distance from your chest. Because if it's right on your chest, it can be pinned across your chest by your opponent as well, for him to be able to take advantage and strike you multiple times if need be. Fuk Sao, covering hand. Now, it kind of looks like a sickle or scythe, but what it does is when we're doing either Chi Sao or even in defense, we're not going to throw this out and do this. This happens if we're grappling or something and we come up and I kind of hook his head or something. And what I'm doing is curving my wrist to be able to create that hook behind the head, do it again behind the arm, do it like this, pull, hit, so on and so forth. All right. Now, this particular section with the Fuk Sao is repeated 3 times. Wu Sao, returning hand. Fuk Sao, extends. Wu Sao, returning. extending. When he reaches the end, he creates a pak sao. Now, the pak sao is going to come across his chest, crosses over the center line to the other side of his body, his other shoulder. So if a punch is coming down the center line, he'll hit it with this part of his palm and veer it off course, which will aim it towards his right shoulder. Then, Jing Zheng. Jing Zheng is upright palm. All right, again, traveling down the center line. Tan Sao again. Hun Sao to a closed fist to pull back to a chambered position. Hun Sao means circling hand, which we will go over applications for circling hand in a later video. Now, while doing these forms, I would like my students and other students around the world to understand the forms are there to teach you all the techniques that are required as a beginner to progress in the Wing Chun system. Okay? Without them, without this learning of position, learning of how to drop your elbow into the right place, raise your elbow into the right place, circle your hand, contract your hand backwards and then extend it forward. You know, if you don't learn these little nuances as you go in the beginning, if you try to progress to a higher level and you don't have a grip on it, they can change what's about to happen in the altercation. Because you don't know how to utilize it, what happens on that particular day where you have to use that to apply something and it's not in your head to use? It'll fail. All right? So these are called gum sao, pinning hands. Now they're going to the side in the form, but they can be utilized going forward, going downward, and so on and so forth. Now you can't see this just yet, but if he turns to the side, these are also gum sao, but they're going backwards. Now as this is happening, he's hitting someone that would be behind them right here in the pelvic area. Now this would be more applied for when somebody's got in a bear hug. He comes back, he pops him right there in the pelvis, makes him concave forward, gives him the ability to get out of the bear hug. Hopefully they never locked it in before he actually applied this, but it still can be used if they did lock it in. Okay. Now what changes at that point is once they lock it in, they might be trying to pick him up, slam him, so on and so forth. So he's going to have to contend with that as well. All right. Double fox out, whipping hand, where he can hit you with chops. Remember, keep in mind, this is just the form. The form just teaches you the techniques and some of the utilization of them. You can use these techniques in a plethora of different methods. Jut sao, which is funny as it sounds, retreating hand. Looks like it's coming back and running away, but then from here we can shoot it back out in a fox sao position going forward, a biuji position, thrusting fingers going forward, so on and so forth. Gum saos again. Fox sao again. And we're going to end it right here at this particular section. All right. So as you can see, some of the movements are repetitive, like tan sao, which is spreading hand, comes across forward, and then as we shift, that's where the spreading comes in. All right. Fuk sao, the laying hand. Okay. Hun saos, then the closing of the hand, which is closed fist position to grab the shirt or something and pull it back in. You know, the chambered position, the gum saos, the pinning hand, so on and so forth. Okay, the form is made specifically to teach you all these simplicities of the art. Simplicities, you know, the word itself can throw people off. Well, how can it be simple and complex at the same time? Well, as Bruce Lee once said, simplicity is the key to brilliance. And I firmly believe that as long as you can hammer your basics out They will save your life every single time. All right. Now, he did not perform the entire Sil Lim Tau form. That is for a later video in the near future that we're going to go through every form in the Wing Chun system. There are 6, 3 open hand forms, a long pole form, a weapon form, a butterfly sword form called Pachamdo, and an apparatus form for the wooden dummy or Mokyang jump. I hope I kind of gave you a little more clarity on the utilization of your techniques to cross over the center line, the imaginary line from top to bottom, for your ability to defend, attack, or attack and defend. Alright, so fight hard, fight strong. Thank you for watching.